Okay, so, bottom line, now let's talk a little bit about some of the success stories from some of the big guys and some of the little guys. One of my favorite success stories, Blendtec blenders. Anybody familiar? You are, because
Seen the videos.
you've seen the video. All right, I love it. Blendtec blenders is in Utah. They're a blender company. So why am I talking about a blender company? Well, Tom Dickerson, I can never get his last name right, had a novel idea how to use social media. So with a camera just like that for a couple $100, and with these are $300+ blenders. They're the kind of blenders, his first market was in the smoothie industry, so tropical smoothie, that's where it started. He rolled it out through Costco and has been promoting it through mainstream, non-commercial, but more, what's the word I'm looking for, to individuals. And so, retail, thank you. Retail, so how does he do this? He did it through social media, specifically through YouTube. What did he do? He started blending everything and anything, which was all fine and dandy and wasn't getting much play, until he blended an iPhone. I don't know, the last time I checked that, it was up in the tens of millions of views. And it was great. It went viral. That is what we call viral media. It surfaced everybody. They linked it through their Facebook. They put it out on Twitter. Anybody that was anybody that followed that sort of crazy stuff, that loved to spend time on YouTube, pretty much knows about the the blending of the iPhone. Smart guy. So, in April, when the iPad rolled out, now, we're huge tech junkies. I've got a Mac sitting up here, and we queued up our app for our iPad like everybody else months before we even saw the device, and we're patiently sitting at home waiting for FedEx to show up with this iPad. And we're sending the kids out to play so we don't have to fight them for the package. While I'm sitting there, I'm working and I'm watching, and through my Twitter feed, because I like this company, I see this tweet come up at the bottom of the page. I'm sitting at home waiting for my iPad. This tweet comes up. Just got back from the Apple Store. iPad. Notice he hashtagged it so it would come up through anybody that's following iPad for the day, because that's the hot topic. In hand, I think you know where this is going. And I'm like, holy Toledo. Okay. So, what do we all do? We're waiting. And I'm thinking, I actually have one of these blenders. How did he get that? He does. He beats the heck out of this iPad over the base of the blender, folds it in half, shoves it in the blender, and blends it. Blends it to a pulp. And the most notable thing is, he posted it. He got it on Saturday. You couldn't get it until Saturday. He posted the video on Monday morning. Within 11 hours, 250,000 people had viewed it. And the only reason they viewed it is because he put out this tweet. He didn't say what he was going to do. He just alluded to the fact, and if anybody had followed him before, by goodness, you were going to be waiting for that video to show up, because how in the heck are you going to shove that iPad into that blender? That's really what I wanted to know, and when he bashed it over the base of the thing, pulled it and half stuff down, okay. When I checked this a few days ago, he has had over 9 million views of that. What does that mean to a company in Utah that makes blenders? SEO, search engine optimization. This is where social media comes into play and puts you on the map. If you're smart, like Mr. Dickerson, not all of us get these kind of novel things, but he definitely tagged it. He figured it out. His mainframe is YouTube. He supplements it through Facebook and Twitter. And what does it do for him? You put in the word blenders, and it's 3 million hits, 3,760,000 hits. Look where he ranks. We all want to be on the first page of a Google search. We don't want to be anywhere else, because nobody goes past page 1. He ranks right here, number 3, because these are images by Google. That's a given. So does social media pay off? Yeah. A couple $100 cameras, beating up some of your own product, throwing out a tweet. Yeah, it pays off big time. And people pay attention. Coca-Cola Facebook page. Everybody knows, the big guys play on Facebook. They do, they have the money. What you may not know, Coca-Cola doesn't own this page. Their most prominent page with 14 million fans, they don't own, didn't start, don't administer. These two guys, Dusty and Michael, they love Coke. There wasn't a Coke Facebook page. They built it. And Coke did the smart thing. Instead of saying, oh my God, you've got our Facebook page, we're going to take it away from you. They were like, hey, you guys are doing a really great job. They brought them into Atlanta, they had them to the museum, they set them up, and they support the heck out of this page. I mean, it is, if you've ever been on it, I encourage you to go, it is a very well-designed Facebook page. So there's a lot of funding that they throw at it, but they don't administer it. Dusty and Michael do. The interesting thing about social media is that the point from which we deviate, all bets are off anymore. Traditional marketing rules don't apply. Now all of a sudden our fans are doing our marketing for us. One of the best case scenarios I can also quote is, and I'm pretty sure, Universal Studios in Florida, and I don't remember how many years ago they unrolled the Harry Potter ride. Was anybody on the Harry Potter ride? I haven't been on the Harry Potter ride, but when they unrolled it, they took a very different approach. They called the social media networks, and they found about 7 fans that had really large spheres of influence, that had prominent presence on the social media networks, and they brought them to Universal Studios, and they made them kings for a day. They did the whole shebang. They were the first on the ride, and they never spent a nickel on marketing. No billboards, no TV ads, no nothing. They brought these 7 people in that were social media. I mean, they were huge. I mean, priority 1, they had to be Harry Potter fans. Priority 2, they had to have a sphere of influence through the social media ranks. So that is what got them the king for a day sort of slot with Universal Studios. And that's how Universal marketed that rock. They never sent an ad.
Wouldn't you run into copyright or trademark infringements on some of this?
For whom? In
Well,
what regard?
if I was Coca-Cola and I saw a Facebook page that wasn't...
If you're old school, you would probably
Right.
think that way, but
Right.
there are 14 million fans on that page. Who cares?
Right.
Really? I mean, yes, technically, but those kind of things are, and we'll get into that with another company here in a minute, those kind of issues, those proprietary issues are really becoming so passé in today's corporate environment, especially in the social media world. It's not about what we have, it's about what we have and how much of it we're willing to share. So we're rethinking that thought, and from before, one would say, oh my gosh, they're proprietary. But when you have 14 million fans on a Facebook page and you don't have to do anything with it, it's not coming out of your ad dollars. I mean, really. So we have to rethink those sort of issues. And there's going to be a real shift, I think, in what companies look at and what companies value. And if it's done well, you know, help it. Don't fight it, help it, because it flies. And with 14 million fans, you let it fly. Locally, here's a project that I was involved in. I don't know if any of you are aware of this. The Women's Giving Circle is here in Bartholomew County. This was a very interesting thing for me to watch happen. I do a lot of work with nonprofits. I have a special part of my heart that likes to work with nonprofits because we spend a lot of our time trying to figure out how to do a million things for nothing. No budgets. Social media enables that in many regards. And this was a good case study. It's a philanthropic group that the gist is $100 a year. Your money is contributed to a pot. You get a vote. And at the end of the year, they will vet certain nonprofit agencies that serve women and children. And then monies will be distributed. So it's a great campaign. But the interesting thing to note about this, we set up a landing page, which is an important thing to do. This is Facebook. Important thing to do. So when you come to Facebook, if you don't already like us, you're going to hit our page and we're going to tell you all about us. And then you're going to like us and you're going to follow us. And then we're going to share with you what we're doing. But this page kind of leaked early. They didn't want to unroll it quite when it did, but it happened because once one person likes it, people are like, oh, Susie, like, what is this page Susie like? Because you see it come through in your Facebook stream. Within a matter of weeks, we had over 150 fans, just here in Columbus. Within less than a month, 200 fans, and it was only because somebody leaked it, because we didn't run the flag up the pole. So this goes to show that even the little guys, there's power in numbers. It's about sharing information, and it's about that sphere of influence, because it's about me liking a page and Marilyn going, oh, Jennifer likes Circle, what is that? I'm going there, oh, that's a really cool thing. Okay, I'm going to like that too. That's the power of social media. That's the sphere of influence. That is the part that you get to engage in. And if you do it well, like Mr. Dickerson and his Blunt Blunders, it hits your bottom line, truthfully. and with this case, it'll do well. It'll continue to go on, because the next thing we'll do with the Women's Giving Circle as influence is we will incorporate those foundations and groups that we donate to. So then we will be collaborating and cross-platform promotion through our social media networks that not only increases our community awareness, but also helps promote those for the organizations that we're supporting. So from a social media standpoint, these kind of things are meaty, darling. Blogs. Mashable runs a blog. And all it is a blog. Streams all day long, important things. If you're doing corporate websites and you're not blogging, I highly encourage you to consider it. Google loves blogs. The algorithm that Google uses to do search